we are kicking things off with big news. Texas is getting serious about the surge in data center construction as major players move into the state. We dive into the regulatory landscape and what this means for the future of infrastructure in the Lone Star State.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to hold it with one hand? The PopSocket's Pop Grip gives you a secure grip, works as a phone stand, and even lets you swap the top for a fresh new look. Simple, useful, and perfect for everyday phone use. Click the link in the comments to grab yours on Amazon.
Next up, the race for next-generation power is heating up in Asia. SoftBank Group's telecommunications arm, SoftBank Corp in Japan, is set to build cutting-edge zinc-halogen battery cells and storage systems in Osaka, Japan, aiming for a massive 1 gigawatt-hour per year scale for AI data centers. But building that infrastructure is not easy. We look at the massive hurdles facing data center construction, from permitting nightmares highlighted by Rob Laudati at Render Networks to the environmental and labor challenges pointed out by Kaitlin Benkosmi at Ramball. Finally, we turn to Indianapolis. Indy mayor candidate Andrea Hunley discusses her vision for the city, focusing on education, data centers, and the crucial need for a collective community vision to secure a bold future. Stay with us for the full story. Texas is intensifying its scrutiny of data centers following a notable increase in their relocation to the state. This trend is prompting closer examination from state authorities regarding the infrastructure, regulation, and potential impact of these rapidly expanding facilities. Local news sources, such as WFAA, are actively covering this development, indicating a growing focus on how these massive data operations fit into Texas's evolving regulatory and economic landscape. The heightened scrutiny suggests that policymakers and regulators are assessing issues ranging from energy consumption and environmental impact to data security and local economic contributions associated with the influx of data center infrastructure. SoftBank Group's telecommunications arm, SoftBank Corp in Japan, is set to launch a major initiative to develop and manufacture next-generation zinc-halogen battery cells and storage systems specifically for the Japanese market, targeting a production capacity of 1 GWh per year. The ambitious project will be anchored at SoftBank's Osaka factory, which will serve a dual purpose, housing both an AI data center and an AI hardware plant. The battery development will involve strategic partnerships. SoftBank will collaborate with South Korea-based battery company Cosmos Lab on developing the next-generation zinc-halogen battery cells, working alongside AI firm DeltaX Co. to finalize battery designs. This collaboration will establish two key ventures: Axe Factory, designated as the hub for AI data center operations and hardware manufacturing, and GX Factory, which will function as the manufacturing center for the new batteries, solar panels, and related products. SoftBank has set an aggressive timeline for production. The company plans to commence manufacturing of battery cells and channel YouTube systems at the GX Factory starting in fiscal year 2027, aiming to achieve mass production at a gigawatt-hour per year scale by approximately fiscal year 2028. Zinc-halogen batteries offer inherent safety due to the use of pure water as the electrolyte. While aqueous zinc-ion batteries have been explored previously, they currently hold a small market share. Challenges associated with halogen cathodes, such as low electrical conductivity, severe corrosion, and competing hydrolysis reactions, have been identified in peer reviews. However, the relative abundance of key materials suggests potential cost-effectiveness and intrinsic safety, along with a potentially long operational lifetime for these novel battery technology. Noi Dung Kai Tight. The path from designing an artificial intelligence data center to operational reality is fraught with significant and complex hurdles, characterized by protracted approval processes, regulatory constraints, and community concerns. Experts indicate that the permitting phase is frequently the most significant bottleneck in bringing these massive infrastructure projects to fruition. /N Rob Laudati, Chief Product and Partnership Officer at Render Networks, described the process of gaining approval for a data center, spanning initial consultations, permitting, construction, and delivery, as creating a fairly ugly picture. He highlighted that the permitting process is the long pole in the tent because it involves navigating numerous jurisdictions, including local, county, state, and private landowners. This process often involves securing easements rather than outright land purchases, making it highly variable and difficult. N permitting extends beyond simple land use, encompassing rigorous reviews related to zoning, power, water usage, and environmental factors such as potential disruptions to migratory birds or local air quality. Kaitlin Bencosme, a senior managing consultant at Ramball, emphasized the critical nature of air and climate permitting. She detailed the necessity of first assessing air emissions from combustion equipment and storage, followed by securing approvals from the local authority having jurisdiction, AHJ. Bencosme stressed a firm rule: no emissions equipment can be turned on before permits are secured, despite high uptime requirements like 5 nines often necessitating such equipment. N furthermore, a major obstacle arises when companies seek emissions offsets, but find them unavailable in specific regions, citing instances where obtaining credits in areas like Dallas-Fort Worth is nearly impossible, even for facilities exceeding emission thresholds. This illustrates how regional constraints can override project goals. N beyond regulatory hurdles, labor shortages present another significant challenge. Tony Corey, Vice President of Construction at Data Bank, noted that while national contractors may exist, securing specialized subcontractors in key markets like Texas, Georgia, and Northern Virginia remains difficult, especially in rural areas where regulatory meetings are infrequent and the labor pool is scarce. And underlying these logistical and regulatory issues is growing community discontent regarding data centers, centered on concerns over water consumption, power usage, and emissions. Laudati attributes this to a maturity issue, suggesting that operators are prioritizing speed over coordinated planning. Corey calls for greater education, urging companies to adopt a role as good stewards of the community. N in response to sustainability demands, the market is shifting toward advanced cooling technologies, including liquid-cooled infrastructure, direct-to-chip cooling, and immersion cooling. While operators strive to integrate these sustainable designs, they must balance innovation with construction timelines. The future demands long-term planning, region-specific strategies, and flexibility in a dynamic market to successfully navigate the construction of next-generation data centers. Noi Dung Kai Tait. Indiana State Senator Andrea Hunley is sharpening her bid for the Indianapolis mayoral race next year, aiming to distinguish herself by leveraging over 15 years of experience as an educator and principal. In an exclusive interview with Indy Star ahead of her May 8 launch party, Hunley emphasized her background in building community relationships face-to-face with parents, teachers, and students, alongside making critical high-level decisions. She intends to bring a grassroots mindset to the mayor's office, contrasting with her opponent who has extensive experience in city government. N discussing her vision for Indianapolis, Hunley framed her candidacy not around a singular personal vision, but around a collective community vision. She stressed the need for broad collaboration, inviting pastors, neighborhood advocates, business leaders, and artists to join in writing the city's next chapter, asserting that government's role is to serve by asking what the community needs and wisely allocating resources. N her long-term aspirations for the city include transforming Indianapolis into a river city, the women's sports capital, and ensuring strong schools in every neighborhood. However, she balanced grand visions with addressing essential infrastructure and social needs, including fixing potholes, investing in neighborhoods, tackling housing challenges, and improving opportunities for young people. N Hunley highlighted her direct leadership experience, noting that managing a multi-million-dollar school budget for 11 years instilled a deep understanding of owning difficult decisions and serving families. She stressed that city leaders must understand the daily reality of working with families and partnering with the community. \N on education. Hunley advocated for local control, criticizing the erosion of community voice in decision-making processes, such as the IPEC board, and calling for a holistic approach to public schools across Marion County, ensuring investment in economic opportunity and generational wealth building. \N addressing public safety. Hunley emphasized a preventative approach, asserting that enforcement alone is insufficient. She called for increased investment in community-led efforts, such as Indy peacekeepers and voices, and partnerships for mental health support, stressing the need to invest in the non-police aspects of public safety. \N regarding major development issues like data centers, Hunley urged a strategic, cautious approach. She questioned the immediate economic benefits of a single project, pointing to the need for comprehensive impact assessments on jobs, environment, and local costs before moving forward. She supported a moratorium to allow for a full landscape review, contrasting Indianapolis's approach with other cities that are proactively assessing energy and grid capacity. \N finally, Hunley addressed the current economic strain on residents, citing high gas prices, rising utility bills, and rental costs, advocating for an affordable housing plan and streamlining zoning processes to accelerate development without compromising community stability. She concluded by calling for a unified, people-powered campaign, emphasizing that success depends on a partnership between business, neighbors, and volunteers, and recognizing the unique strength of Black women in shaping a more inclusive and dynamic Indianapolis.